Hello, Mr. Garcia.
How's it going?
How are you?
Hey, thanks for
Thank you for making time to visit with me.
absolutely, and thank you, for your time too as well. I know that you're planning, your lesson for
Yes.
So what can you tell me about it?
So my students had a test last week on the 15th, and I looked at my data, and as you can tell, there was a couple of questions that had good responses. They were the students demonstrated that they grasped the concept, but there was one particular question that, as you can tell here, only 3 of my 17 students got correct, and that had to do with standard 5.3, which has to do with adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Now, I printed out that particular question because I was trying to analyze what were some of the strategies, what were some of the misconceptions, what are some of the, the tactics that my students used to tackle this problem.
Oh, gotcha.
And what I realized was that the question was worded fairly well. The shaded part of a model represents a fraction. Another fraction is subtracted from this first fraction. And they also gave them a visual. They gave them a visual that had 2 different areas that were shaded. One of them was shaded, as you can tell here. 15 out of the 15, or 12 out of the 15 rather, squares in this area was shaded.
Something that you can actually show them. There were like 2 sub areas in that one.
Yeah, I think that was the misconception that the students, given only one illustration, and having them kind of try and scribe that into a math sentence, like or an operation like a mixed number subtraction. I don't think that this visual. I don't think they saw the dimension of it.
Oh, I see.
I was actually thinking, I don't know what you would recommend. Maybe, do you know those? The transparencies that we used to use back in the day?
Yeah. The overlays.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
overlays. So the way I was thinking of reteaching this is, I was actually going to grab this same this illustration and kind of overlay. First show the shaded areas, right? And then overlay it to show the X'd out areas.
Okay, I see.
That way the students are able to break down the illustrations.
Gotcha.
And then from there, create the operation.
Gotcha.
Figure out, because at the end of the day, they didn't understand that there was shaded and non-shaded areas, right? And on top of that there was X'd out areas.
Got it.
In this same illustration.
So basically, you're trying to basically show in a digital kind of way how to provide a better conception of this problem for the kids. Yeah. I also have seen, there was another teacher that she did a really good, also I noticed about a few weeks, ago, she used dominoes.
Okay.
Like white and black dominoes, which is something that I wasn't even thinking, and she actually grabbed like a rows of black dominoes, like per se, like this way, Okay. And then the ones that are actually non-shaded, you see 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, these ones. Yeah. She put like basically the white ones.
Oh, okay.
And she made.
And I guess for the students that was more tactile, they were able to.
Exactly. So they actually like internalized it better, and they were able to see that that the whole thing was just one group, but the white ones were not considered, Right. And then she actually took away, like the ones that were X'd out here,
Okay.
So that would be something that maybe perhaps you could also be considered, beside the visual, which is technology, something that you can also present,
physically
on your teacher's table.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. I think that this question caught them because it's very linear, right? It's flat. It's
correct.
And we live in a world where kids, instant gratification. There's a lot of visual, a lot of color, dimension to a lot of things.
Correct.
And so, if they weren't able to see how these things were layered, then I think something like dominoes is something that gives them dimension to that would clear this clarification.
That would be awesome. Okay, so and basically you're planning to do it when again? Which date?
I'm planning to reteach on Wednesday, and what I would like to do is I would like to have obviously several examples that are representative of how they struggled here.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, well, in that case, I'm just gonna I would like to see the data, from that following Friday, which I think you're gonna test on the 6th, right? You're just testing on the 2nd. Okay, cool. So you're gonna do a retest.
Yes.
I'll test on the 12th, the 6th, and we can see how that is going. If you're implementing, the physical and non-physical,
exactly,
and tying it up, that'll be great.
So I plan to reteach on Wednesday, and I want to see how the students react, because if I don't see that student, if I see like a small group of students that don't get the dominoes or don't get the dimension, I want to pull them in on Thursday and have a small group with them a little more.
I see.
A little more one-on-one.
Something like an informal kind of test, basically.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
And on top of that, I think that having these kind of this kind of review, I'll have a better idea of how that happens, because I want to. On this day, I want to give a small formative assessment here.
Okay.
At the end, and I want them to actually show me. Kind of work the question backwards, where I give them the expression first, and they actually build the model.
Okay. When you say the formative assessment is kind of like an exit.
Exit
ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
I want them to show me that if I give them the expression, how can they, if they can show me a model of it.
Gotcha.
And kind of see their logic.
I see. Oh, so in a way, like also
backwards.
like student generated kind of model.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good. Well, great. Sounds like you have a nice reteaching lesson for the day. Looking forward to see it. Hey, man.
Thank you for your time.
Sure.